Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Little Reader's house. I'm the Little Reader, and you are in my house. Welcome. Get cozy. Have a seat. If you were really here, invited, naturally, as you are, I would give you a blanket, a hot cup of a beverage of your choice, and we would snuggle in and get eye to eye and admire your divine light. But because you're over there, I'm entrusting you with the duty of the self-love to treat yourself the way that you would treat the divine. Get cozy if you want to be cozy. This is your permission to grab that hot cup of tea or coffee or a hot toddy. You know, whatever makes you feel the love. And just get right with God, meaning you. Today I'm getting right with construction that is happening outside of my home. And it's very exciting. Asphalt is being repaved. It's going to be so nice to walk on, drive on, gaze upon. But the construction process itself is a noisy and shaky one. So if you pick up any of those vibrations, literally, because the whole house is shaking, let me know. And know that we're sharing in it together. Kind of like the construction of the soul, Spirit says. Ooh. Also, before we get started, look at my rock. Shaman quartz. Okay. So, Spirit, what would you like to say about the construction of the soul? The soul is an imprint on time. And the soul only exists within the construct of linear time. And have no fear, Spirit says. Time exists in many, many dimensions to enjoy the soul, the unique, individualized soul. The soul, however, is misunderstood largely as infinite and timeless. But it does have an impermanence to it. At some point, even the soul will be merged into the whole. And the soul will lose itself into spirit, not truly losing itself. Again, don't panic. But remembering itself as having been the divine source the entire time, with all the control, all the riz, all the talent, all the glory. I can always feel the energy of the persona, the personality, the form, bucking up like a wild animal against the concept of losing itself to become spirit. Like, wait a second, what about my individuality? What about my talents? What about my gifts? What about my sense of humor? What about my cute face? All these things that we value, we will retain, will just be more, rather than the shred that we are now. And that's not to diminish the shred. It takes every single hair on this head to create a head of hair. Every single one is important. So every shred counts. But Spirit says we've misunderstood the soul. And the soul, if we could see it, is a unique imprint on time. It's a thumbprint, it's a ripple. Spirit separates a part of itself. There's always a jellyfish theme going on. Spirit separates a part of itself, gives it a color, gives it a character, gives it a mission, a destiny, and then imbues that orb of light with its lifehood. And now this soul is on a mission to join this massive tapestry, the tapestry which is time, and the tapestry which requires time in order to become fully itself. And the soul is a thread that weaves into that tapestry. Here we go again with this weaving, waving gesture. Are you close to the ocean by any chance? Or are you embroidering something? Are you crocheting as you watch this, darling? Something about waves or brain waves. Somebody enjoys brain wave therapy and music. But Spirit says the soul is synonymous with an imprint. And the soul, wherever its destination is, whether it's planet Earth or other, the soul fulfills its mission every time. Every time, no exceptions, the soul fulfills its mission every time. The degree of awareness that the soul enjoys during the mission varies. And Spirit's indicating that now, the time we're in now, you and I now, whenever you're watching this, whether you find it millennia in the future as an archive, that's what humans used to look like, yeah, or whether you find it a year from the point that it was filmed, or 3, maybe 9. The time that you find this in is a critical point of human ascension, because every point is a critical point of human ascension. But B, the reason that Spirit gets me on this floor with this microphone and this camera is because a whole host of souls are ready to bring more awareness into their daily experience, starting now. Now. Starting now. We think of the soul as another version of the human form. And in a way it is. Our human form will leave an imprint. One of carbon. Our human form will leave an imprint in terms of what it consumes. And then discards. Puts out. In more ways than one. Whether or not it reproduces, clones itself, whether or not it recycles, doesn't recycle, what it acquires in terms of forms, and then discards, sells, leaves as an inheritance. The form will leave an imprint in terms of what it destroys or what it builds. The amount of seeds that it sows, or the amount of trees it's responsible for. That was uprooting. That's the human form. Then there's the human soul. And much like the form, it leaves a thumbprint in all of time, space, reality that echoes on forever, including backwards through the past. It leaves a mark of time even in a timeless universe. Spirit loves a paradox as a medicine for the mind, because the mind does not know what to do with a paradox, but the heart does. So just receive it. Or not. The soul leaves an imprint of energy. The soul leaves the non-physical imprint. And the soul has the blueprint that dictates the imprint that the form will leave. Just like the form, but far less dense, the soul is connected to spirit, not just connected, but made up of spirit, animated by spirit. It is a light being. But unlike pure, unfiltered white light of spirit, the soul has qualities. Spirit has all qualities and no qualities simultaneously. The soul has certain qualities. And every soul has certain qualities, different qualities. Say qualities one more time. I won't. The soul and its qualities. Here we go with the wave again. Bobbing in the ocean like a buoy, and like a log. The soul holds data, qualities required to complete the tapestry. And as we've talked about before, and it becomes relevant to discuss now, there are levels of expression of the soul. If we set our life on automatic and we let form take over completely, we will play out the most instinctive levels of soul expression. They'll be heavily filtered through our ancestral and genetic lines, because these are the most basic filters that determine our trajectory at the most primitive levels of soul expression. So if we're bringing very low amount of awareness into our daily life, we can count on expressing all of our ancestral and genetic and karmic patterning by default. It's default setting. So if there's a lot of privilege in our ancestral line, we can expect to express a life of privilege. As a quality, because privilege is more of a situation, if there's a lot of charm and intelligence, we can expect to wield those attributes by default. Similarly, if there's a lot of anger, a lot of abandonment, a lot of repression, we can expect to wield that as well. At our lowest levels of soul expression, we're only bringing in, of the 100% awareness we have to play with in this reality, we're only bringing in a few percentage points. We let the rest of our awareness go wherever it goes, which is typically the realm of mind. The realm of mind is always hungry for awareness. So, if we just take our feet, and apparently hands, off the steering wheel and the gas and let our soul express itself at a default level, it's very likely for most of us in the collective that we'll find that our soul expresses itself mostly in the mental realm. Hypotheticals, ruminations, imaginations. We may get a lot of ideas that never ground into anything. We may enjoy a lot of entertainment of all kinds, music and movies. And we're just constantly living life in the second hand because most of our awareness is in the mental realm. The mental realm, while enticing and with its valuable offerings, is still a realm of half forms. It does not ground into the manifest. So our soul expression left at its default levels is patterning. And here we go again with the flow. Spirit wants to make it oh so very clear. There's nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this. And to let ourselves be led by our patterning and let ourselves be led by the fundamental basics of our soul expression is sacred in and of itself. And Spirit, I hope you know, of course you do, but this is a very hot take. Thanks. It's a sacred thing to let yourself be led by unconscious patterning. Because before your soul even made it into form, the unconscious patterning was already decided. Your thread was already bound and destined to fulfill its role in the tapestry. So at any point when you are taking your hands and feet off the wheel and the gas of consciousness and deciding to be what spiritual teachers call unconscious, which is let yourself be led by your patterns. Let yourself be led by your reactivity. Let yourself be led by your shadow or your light, depending on whatever surprises you when it surfaces. Spirit bows to that. There is a holiness and a sacredness to that. And Spirit says that it's just as much part of the tapestry, the glorious tapestry of consciousness and reality and existence and magic and miracles to be unconscious as it is to be conscious. I didn't know. But it is just as holy and sacred to be unconscious as it is to be conscious, because Spirit doesn't judge. So Spirit is asking you, beautiful soul, to not judge when you're conscious or unconscious. If your soul's expression has been at the lowest level, and we say low not to indicate superiority or a hierarchy, we say low to indicate numerically the amount of awareness grounded in the form, grounded in the consciousness. If your soul expression has been minimally aware, amazing, incredible, gorgeous, Spirit celebrates you, celebrates you. And if your consciousness is on the other extreme, you've experienced enlightenment, you've experienced bliss. Maybe you're not even human, maybe you're an extra dimensional being from another planet. Hey, give me a call on my human phone. And your state of consciousness is the bliss of identifying with Spirit. Your soul expression is done because you merged back to Spirit while in form, whatever that form may be. amazing, fantastic, genius, gorgeous. Spirit's not judging. Both are equally useful in Spirit's eyes. The question is, what kind of experience does your soul want to have when you become aware of it? And that's a matter of communing with the heart and asking the heart. And you don't have to get an answer right away. Just like the repaving that's going on outside of my home right now. As long as we're in linear time, we're under construction, because we're in a construct. But when you even just consider the question, how does my soul want to express itself? How much awareness would it like to experience right now? And then run away. Ask the question and then run. The question becomes an invitation for the answer, and the answer will hunt you down and find you in the best way. And you'll begin to know. The collective's already decided, whether they know it consciously or not, whether you made this decision mentally and wrote it down somewhere. I want to be 100% aware. I want to be more powerful. I want to live through my heart. Or whether you just stumbled onto this video, random. And you're like, what is she talking about? You already decided. Your soul wants top tier expression. It doesn't have to be all the time, but it wants to experience the bliss of present moment awareness. Present moment awareness is en vogue. It's happening. It's now. Just like the hair that keeps crawling into my mouth and adhering to my lip gloss like glue. It wants to be here. It wants to be where it wants to be. And you, beautiful soul, gorgeous, radiant soul, are ready to start dipping in the toesies and the hands, and then the entire form. As the tapestry completes over the course of linear time, Spirit has this massive tapestry. I can't see what the image is. I can't comprehend it, but I can sense it. I can bear witness to the echo of the tapestry and see that it's would make Michelangelo blush. As it continues to be filled in over the course of linear time as we perceive it, the threads, the souls that weave in will become more and more aware, more and more aware. Just like technology, unconsciousness, letting ourselves be led by our rudimentary patterns, is old school. And it's quickly becoming retro. It's quickly becoming retro to let ourselves live an unconscious life. This is the destiny of human evolution. What's hip, what's happening, what's now is becoming more aware. And as we become more aware, the soul becomes brighter inside of the form that it's inhabiting. Brighter. And remember, the soul is not spirit. The soul is the mission, and spirit's the animating life force. So it's still possible to skip over the soul and go straight to identifying with spirit, the all that is and all that will ever be. But for our collective at large, the calling is to make a pit stop at the soul first. Meet the soul. What color is it? Can you tell mine? Drop it down below. if you can see it, because it's there. It's a very distinct color, which shares the name of a gemstone. But anyway, little reader detour. Back to you. The encouragement from Spirit is to make a pit stop at the soul. Check it out. What's my soul color? What does that mean? What does that mean about the energy I bring to a room? About the gifts? About my proclivities? Am I a talker? Do I have the riz? Or am I quiet, shy, and I bring silent support? Am I a master of routines? Am I reliable? Am I the opposite? Am I super dynamic, spontaneous? You never know what you're going to get. How do I affect others at my best? How do I affect others at my worst? Mental constructs, because Spirit's not judging, but it gives the mind an opportunity to conceive of an element within it that it has never conceived of before, never met before, never understood before. And in creating this concept, realizing the idea that is us, and understanding that that ripple will be stamped onto time, linear time, forever. That's already stamped there. And realizing that our free will is getting to determine what quality of awareness we'll bring to that stamp. How aware will we have been during the journey? That's what we get to choose. It leaves us with room to play. And there are the waves again. Play. And the playing is a lot like swimming. And if you're not familiar with swimming, let me describe. Swimming is developing a relationship with water to the degree that you know when to let yourself be carried by it and when to exert energy and work with it to get somewhere in it, to achieve a goal. I want to get to the end of the pool. What kind of swimming do I need to do to get there? Or can I float? I want to surf. What kind of swimming do I need to do to get out there and then to get back on the board? Do I want to float down a lazy river in a tube? What kind of swimming will be required to get onto the tube? Spirit simply asks that the collective build a relationship with itself and understand that no matter how much predestination is involved, and it's more than we would like to mentally think, every single one of us still has the choice of how aware we'll become on the journey. And the journey is equal to this moment, this one right here. As a friendly reminder, beautiful soul, meditation is the act of practicing, bringing as many percentage points of awareness from all the different realms where we stash it into the present moment. Mental fitness. And it's the calling. Now more than ever. For all the right reasons. And that is where we are leaving it today, beautiful soul. It has been an honor and a pleasure to share space with you today and my rock, Shaman Quartz. Until we meet again, I am sending you all the love I've got. More love, never less. If you feel moved to do that YouTube stuff, the likes, the comments, and the shares. That moves me too. Until we meet again, beautiful soul.